I hardly ever talk about myself, so I thought I'd start this episode by talking about myself. I kind of look like a really old 20-year-old because of the way I dress, the way I act. I look like if you put lipstick on a pig. I wonder who came up with that expression. It's pretty scary if you think about it. Thought of putting lipstick on a pig? Doesn't that seem kind of sexual? Sounds kind of like someone was doing bestiality with a pig or something. I bet some farmer came up with that expression. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. Well, who would even think of doing that in the first place? I'm not sure where this is headed. Talk about animals and clothes a lot on this podcast. These are just the things I like to talk about. Are those subjects interesting? Please let me know. Send me a message, please. Or leave a comment on one of my videos. Because I'd really like to know. I think that we should all be extremely offended at this point by the expression low-hanging fruit. People say this a lot lately. It's like, oh, that's low-hanging fruit. But at this point, it's become such an obvious dog whistle for an older guy's balls that I find it extremely offensive, and I think people should stop talking about it because, every time you say that, you're kind of hurting an old guy's feelings. The older you get, the more your balls sag down. Like if you go to a spa or some sort of like a hot springs or a bath where you might see a bunch of other naked people of the same gender as yourself, you might see an old guy's balls and they're just hanging down really low, right? Like to his, mid-thigh or even lower. It's just something that happens over time because of gravity. And when people say low-hanging fruit, they're being sort of insensitive to these older gentlemen whose testicles have been ravaged by gravity and time. I just think people should take them into consideration more when they use expressions like this really flippantly, without even thinking about it. I pretty much just removed that expression completely from my vocabulary. I don't use it in conversation, even casual conversation, because I don't want it to come back to bite me in the ass later on, These days people get canceled for things, that they said in the past or they tweeted about or whatever they ranted about on social media. And, in the future, I don't want someone going through my social media and finding that I use the expression low-hanging fruit. And then they're going to say, oh, that fucking asshole. He just loves being offensive, doesn't he? He likes to piss people off. He's pretty much a troll. And that's not the reputation I want to have. So that's why I'm sending this warning out to everyone. You can keep using it if you want, this is a free country, as they say, we have free speech, the First Amendment and all that. But there's also the saying, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. And I think that applies in this situation. I mean, it's not like you have to say low-hanging fruit, right? There's other expressions you can use, like extremely saggy balls or old guy's balls that are hanging down really low. I think it's kind of weird to call them fruit, too, because sounds vaguely sexual. Like people talk about the fruit of their loins, or they refer to like their sperm and things like that as their fruit, or their eggs. And, fruit has been a metaphor for sex and sexual things for a long time. So yeah, I mean, why would you refer to an old man's balls as fruit anyway? Not saying old people aren't sexual. That's rude too. That's not what I mean. I mean, old people are attractive as well, and they also enjoy having sex. But I mean, to reduce an old man to purely, the fruit of his loins or his low-hanging fruit is kind of, I don't know, objectifying in a way. So there's just a myriad of reasons why you should avoid this phrase. And I'm just putting them out there for you. You don't have to abide by it or anything. If you feel like I'm being overly sensitive or too politically correct, you can go ahead and ignore it. Okay? It's not a rule or anything like that. It's not a law. So don't get all upset about it and say, oh my god, that guy's too woke or whatever, too left wing. It's just a polite warning. One thing that came to my attention recently is that, you can pretty much guess a woman's breast size, right? Any woman you look at, I mean, even if she's wearing baggy clothes, you can kind of tell, oh, well, that woman has kind of big ones or kind of small ones or kind of medium-sized ones. I think it's kind of unfair that for the most part, you can't really tell how big a man's penis is just by looking at him. I mean, you can guess, you can make a pretty good guess, and maybe he's got a big bulge or something, or he has no bulge at all, but still, you never know when his pants come off. It could be really hung or really not hung. Penis sizes range from anywhere between micro penis to like practically like a horse dick, like Dirk Diggler had in Boogie Nights. But pants and men's underwear pretty much cover it all up. You can't really tell. Well, maybe sometimes if he's wearing like sweats or some kind of tight pants or shorts that are pretty revealing. But anyway, I was thinking about this inequality here, how the whole world pretty much knows more or less how big a woman's breasts are, but not how big a man's penis is. So I thought they should make a law that men have to give their penis size all the time. Like it has to be listed on your passport or your driver's license and just your public records in general. That would even the playing field, I think, for men and women. Then, I'd be willing to do it. I'd be willing to tell everyone how big my penis is or, whatever the size of it. And I think a lot of people will agree with me on this, men and women alike. And that way there are no surprises either in the bedroom. Like you're not going to get with some guy and think he's got a big one or he's got a small one and then the opposite is true. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's just something that I'm proposing. I hope it becomes a law someday because that's the world we live in. And that's the world we want to live in. And I don't need to tell you that. You already knew that. So let's just get the ball rolling on this. Because I'm sick of it, frankly. And I'm sure a lot of you out there are as well. Get in touch with your local senator or legislator. Go down to the city hall if you need to and tell them about this. You know how these days people are really into grooming their, pubic hair? They like shave it all off or they get really neat with it and they trim it down. It's almost like they're trimming their hedges. It's kind of like landscaping. But they make even special razors and things like this for that exact purpose. I think they really need to expand the product range for this though. I mean, you got trimmers and shavers, but you don't really have little curling irons for down there. What if you want to make some really tight curls down there? Some people naturally have that, but some people don't. Or what if you want to straighten them? What if they're really curly and you want to try a straight look? So I think they should make miniature curling irons and hair straighteners for that area down there. Or, you could even use it on other types of pubic hair, like your armpit hair or your butt hair, maybe even your chode if you have some hair there. You could even use it for your beard if you want to style your beard. Because regular hair irons and curling irons and hair straighteners are pretty big and are just inappropriate for the length of hair you have down there and also the delicate parts you have down there. You don't want to hurt yourself trying to style your hair down there. So that's just another proposal I'd like to make. I want to get that idea circulating out there in the world so that hopefully someone hears it and does something about it. Because I guess I'm not going to do it. I'm not like an inventor. I've never filed a patent or anything like that, but I have lots of ideas. And I don't care if someone else capitalizes on it. Because I just want the product itself. I don't need to be like the guy who invented the pubic hair curling iron or whatever. Or the pubic hair straightener. That's not my industry, so to speak. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Mouth Dancing. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next week. See you later.